So how are you? Nice to meet you. Finally, we have an album out for you. Uh,
Yes,
been out a few days now. How do you feel?
I'm quite happy. I try not to get too excited just so I don't get too much of a, a big down. So yeah, but I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've released a few things up until this point. So why now for an album? Why is the right time now?
Because it was ready. I've been wanting to put stuff out. I'm always in a hurry to put new songs out, so it was as early as it could be out for me, I guess.
Better sad than sorry.
Yeah.
There's definitely a sadness theme that's been going
Yeah.
on with you.
Yeah.
Um, is that because you kind of want to own it? You want to, is it like a catharsis kind of thing? You kind of own the sadness and move forward. How do you
For
feel
sure. Yeah, yeah. I own the sadness, and also it's just I think everyone gets sad at some point, and it's seen a lot as a negative thing because it's not fun to be sad. But I think it's good to make beautiful things out of sadness. So just because it's part of life, so it's a way to accept these bad feelings that are just as important as being happy.
I
Mm.
agree. No, it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
listening to your record, like there's so many different sounds and different genres mixed in there. Like one of the things I loved about it was you never really knew what was coming next. And it kind of kept you guessing, and there's plenty of surprises in there. So I'm curious to know where this sound came from because it's pretty unique. Were you always into different kinds of music? What was your music taste growing up?
Growing up, I listened to a lot of R&B, Aretha Franklin, Christina Aguilera, all that stuff. That's what, and all kinds of that was really as a kid, lots of divas. I think it made me want to sing as well. Like they would do high notes, and then I would try to do them myself as well. But it goes in all kinds of direction, from Aretha Franklin to Celine Dion, And then later on, I started listening to a lot of rock music. I got my Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin phase in high school, because that's what people wanted to play, and I got really into it just because it's fun to sing as well. It's like another aesthetic of show where I let myself go a little bit more in terms of movement, I guess.
Yeah.
Like more of a free spirit. And then afterwards, I went to school in music and jazz, and I got into jazz a lot around 18 years old. Listened to all kinds of jazz singers, and I got really into the harmony in classical music as well while I was studying. So that's where I get the most. That's more of that's where I get more the harmonic part of my music, and then the singing, it's a lot of the soul and the rock. So yeah, I listen to a lot of things, and and I kind of want to channel them all when when I
Yeah, well, I think mission accomplished, but it kind of makes sense together weirdly. It's like one minute it's like something pretty mellow and more kind of R&B tinged, and then the next minute it's almost like you've been listening to Nine Inch Nails. It like
Mhm.
gets quite aggressive almost, but it
Yeah,
all kind of makes sense together.
thanks.
At what point did you realize that you could sing to begin with?
To sing.
Yeah, when did you realize you actually had a voice?
I've always been singing like
As a kid?
as long as I can remember. Um, when I was 4 years old, I used to sing the songs that I listened to, like put on high heels and and sing in my living room. I started singing lessons when I was 8 years old, I think. But
Okay.
in my head, I wanted to sing for a long time when I was 8. So
And
yeah.
how old were you when you kind of wrote your first song or tried to write your first song?
I had a band when I was in high school, where I wrote songs with them. I was in maybe 12 or 13 years old. I started writing songs then.
What kind of band was that?
What kind of it was pop rock. That's what that's the musicians I had with me. That wasn't necessarily my choice of music, but I was just happy to make music at all.
What
Mm,
about the first song that you wrote that you
yeah.
actually performed yourself live? What was that?
I was en secondaire 2, so how old was I? Yeah, 12, 13 maybe, 13 years old. It was a festival in Saint-Lambert. We had our band playing there for free.
Right.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was an actual show with people there in the afternoon.
That kind of led you, like you said, you mentioned about listening to Aretha and Celine. Like,
Yeah.
is that from your parents' music collection, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. My dad listened a lot to Aretha, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, so all like classic soul music, and I really loved it as well. It was very emotional, music, and it got to me really quick. I think sad music is what sparkled the most things in me when I was younger. So that's why I think it stayed.
I'm the
Yeah.
same. I think I have this theory that I think people enjoy sad music because it kind of makes them feel that it makes them feel better that somebody else kind of is going through a similar experience and they're not on their own with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So with this record, I'm guessing some of these songs are pretty old because you had the singles and the EPs that came out. So where did this record really start?
I s- I started it, I guess, with Sadder but Better. Sadder but Better, I already knew that it was going to be on the record, Better Sad Than Sorry. So that would be somewhere in 2022, right after Sad in a Good Way came out. Then I started writing songs, and I knew it was going onto an album. I didn't know yet that I was going to include those Sad in a Good Way in the album. But doing Sadder but Better and then doing other songs. Um, when I did a show just with my guitar player, so um, the songs were stripped down from Sad in a Good Way, and I felt like they could have another life, but in a new perspective, like more. Less production, more just straight through the chords and the melody, and that's it. And I thought maybe, and then that's when Felix heard them for the first time. It was on a show that I was doing, and he was like, maybe it would be good for the album for you to do them again, but in a more relaxed. That's not the word I'm looking for. Sorry, my English is rusty right now.
That's okay.
Like a stripped down way that could
Yeah.
help with the album because everything has so much information in it. So then to have some songs that are just like, okay, we're taking a break and we're just like having a more simple sound.
Yeah. Was it tricky to kind of work out the track listing for the album because you jump from genre to genre, like
Mhm.
to get a nice flow to the album? Was that hard work for you?
It wasn't that no, it wasn't that hard. I was listening to the songs. I knew what I wanted to I wanted Follow somewhere in the beginning. Follow is the focus track right now. And then
Mhm.
it just made sense afterwards to go into Forget. And then I was like, okay, I think I need a break now. So some things changed, but it was quite in I didn't try a lot of pacing. It went quite easily. Just the first and last that was different. Yeah.
let's say you get on a plane, you sat next to somebody you've never met before, you get chatting, they say, "Oh, what do you do?" What do you tell them you do? And then if they ask what kind of music you make, what do you tell them?
Um, Alternative soul. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. That's
Alternative
interesting.
soul. Yeah.
Okay, so alternative soul. I'm wondering if what people would think when they think of alternative soul. How would you sum it up?
Yeah. What I and then I often tell people that I'm somewhere between Beyonce and Radiohead in terms of influence.
Nice. That's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah, it's the two my two mains.
So is there like if they said this person on the plane, if they said, okay, can you play me a song so I can hear what you sound like? Is there one that you would play first?
Mm, it depends on the person's vibe. Depends what they're wearing or I guess if they're doing small talk with me on an airplane, most likely I'm gonna go with something easier listening.
Right. Yeah, ease them in gently.
Yeah, it means they're good vibes, and so I'll go probably with better. But then if someone it takes more time before we get to the small talk, then I would go into follow, I guess. It really depends on the people's vibes.
Yeah. And how often do you play live? Do you play live regularly or not?
My show or
Yeah, your show.
my show, not as much as I would like. I had a few shows this summer. It was a good summer, and I have some more coming. But I'd rather play all the time.
Yeah,
That's the part I like the most.
your next show in Montreal is 29th of November, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, this part of a festival, I think.
yeah. Festival Triste, sad festival.
Right. Oh, perfect then.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna own that.
yeah, yeah.
What can you tell me about a show? How do you look at a show?
A show in general,
Yeah,
like
what do you hope to achieve when you play live?
I'm happy with the show if I feel that I've been completely free at some point, that I'm not restricted to expectations, or if I can let myself go and that I'm not thinking about uh, what people are thinking and stuff, then I'm happy.
Okay, so do you consider yourself part of the Montreal scene? I know that you've sang with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Our friend Dominique, for one, client friends.
yeah.
Do you feel like you're part of the scene here?
Most definitely, I've sang with so many Montreal artists that are so important to the Montreal scene, and for me, I'm getting there on my with my music. I think it's getting to that point.
So you
Hope,
mentioned Felix,
yeah,
who he's like a major contributor for you.
yeah.
What does he bring to the picture that you wouldn't have without him?
Well, before Felix, I would do some stuff on the computer, and then the musicians would play them afterwards. But with Felix, when brought him the first song, I thought that all of my sounds were kind of basic, I guess, but the composition was there. And then he used the drums that I brought and made it sound good with just a little few touches, and it made the whole difference. For so this in the first time working with him, um, gave me a lot of confidence into doing my own productions, because he was like, no, we can definitely use what you did. We just need to do this, and then it sounded way better. And that was with the song Show. That's the first
Okay.
song I brought to him. And then, yeah, I was very, very moved to be able to use my own stuff um, for like a final result.
How do you get to a song? Like, where does it start? And at what point do you then take it to somebody like Felix?
It never starts the same way. It depends. Most of the time, I start with the chords. Sometimes with the drums, and then afterwards, I often write lyrics when I'm en mouvement, when I'm going somewhere, when I'm on an
Okay.
airplane or in my car. And then I think of lyrics when I'm like alone, and then I'm gonna match what I wrote with something that I wrote musically. Sometimes I'm gonna start with the music and then add lyrics, but most of the time it's like, oh, this goes well with this. I think this is. I was feeling the same thing when I did both of these things. So it never starts the same way. When I bring it to Felix, the composition is pretty much done. I often bring the musical part first, and then we record together the vocals. I do the drums, the bass, the chords, and everything. I have also my boyfriend at home, Emil. He works on a lot of synth sounds here, and then sometimes I hear and I'm like, oh, I like this sound. May I steal it from you? And he says yes, and then I do chords from there, or I ask him to play some chords with the sound he makes.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, 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 for sure. So, are these people Felix and your boyfriend? Does he play with you?
No, my Felix plays with me. My boyfriend doesn't play with me. He
Okay.
plays
Who
with
else?
my
Who else is
friends.
in the band?
In my band, there's Anthony Pajot on the drums, Jonathan Arsenault on the bass. Usually on the keyboard, it's David Osei Afrifa, and guitar is Philippe Lally.
So it's a pretty big band.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
will they all be playing on the 29th?
And on the 29th, everyone is there, and there's also extra people coming in. I have some back vocals that are going to be there for a couple of the songs, including Mariko, who is an artist from Montreal as well, Mel Pacifico, who plays with Foundation, Alex Guimont, who plays with Lydia Kipinski and Lumière, and Malika Tyrolien as well, who's
Wow.
a yeah.
So it's a
And
big
then
show for you.
it's a big show. And then another special guest I have is Anomaly on
Oh,
the
yeah,
key.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people, and it's gonna be fun. I mean, I never get to have my full band. Most of the times, I'm just with Felix and the sound man. Sometimes we
Mhm.
had drums, but now we're getting for the launch. We're having a sad party.
Nice. That's how party. So 29th. What's the name of the venue? I can't pronounce it.
Uh,
Yeah.
Ouais, soterranea. It means souterrain, under the ground. It's the basement of Sala Rosa.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've been there, but I never know how to say it. But it sounds better when you say it in French. You're from Montreal originally. You were born here.
Yeah, yeah, from Montreal. Well, South Shore, but yeah.
Okay. So do you have any? I know that you're working with a lot of artists in Montreal, and you feel connected to certain artists. Is there any artists that you're working with that you think other people need to know about that maybe they don't know yet?
Oh, that they don't know yet? I think the people I work with, people know. Maybe right now I'm a lot with Greg Baudin and Brown family. The Greg Baudin is part of Brown family as well. These are the latest projects I've been working on that I really like. They have a good show, and they're as well. They're also they just released an album, Brown Family, and it's very ADHD like me. It goes from one one style to another, but in a very different way than I do it. So it's fun. We connect in that way, but it's still very different from what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So after that show, do you have more stuff planned? Anything for the new year, maybe?
For the new year, what I'm doing next?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna compose some more music, so I'm working on that now. But I'll finish the launch first, and then I'll get back to it. I have a few songs with other artists as well that are in the works. We'll see what happens.
Well, I really love the album. I was pleasantly surprised when I kind of listened to it like front to back.
Mm.
Um, I'm going to try and get down on the 29th to hear some of these songs
Yes,
live.
please. Yeah.
So I'll say hi if I see you around. You'll probably be
Yeah.
busy. Um, but yeah, congratulations on it. It's quite an achievement, and
Thank you
um,
so much. Thank you.
I hope that you know you get great songs from feeling sad, but I hope you're not relying on that too much.
No, maybe next I'll move on to I don't know. I guess happy. Happy. I don't. I like being happy, but the songs I guess are music is therapy. Lots of people have probably told you that, and you probably feel the same.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, hopefully something else than sad. We'll see. Maybe I'll get angry.
Okay, well, whatever it takes to get this music out of you is I'm here for it. So yeah, thanks very much for your time. It's been really nice talking to you, and hopefully I'll get to see you on the 29th.
Yes, likewise. Nice to meet you, and I'll see you on the 29th.